Have you ever looked around your home and felt a little overwhelmed? Maybe there are dishes waiting in the sink, a pile of mail on the counter, or laundry folded halfway but never quite put away. Maybe you catch yourself thinking, where do I even start? If that feels familiar to you, please know that you are not alone. Life gets busy, days pass quickly, and sometimes the peaceful home we dream about feels just out of reach. But what if I told you that building a peaceful home does not have to be overwhelming? What if it could start with one small habit at a time? Today, I want to share something simple, something gentle, and something real. No endless to-do lists, no chasing perfection, just a few loving habits that can transform the way you feel in your own space. These are not chores. They are small acts of care, soft whispers that say, you are safe here, you are home. And the beautiful part is, you can begin today, exactly where you are, in your own way, and in your own time. Stay with me until the end, because after I share the first 5 habits, I have 2 special bonus habits, little treasures that many women say have changed not only their homes, but also the way they live each day. Let us begin this journey together toward a home that feels like a deep breath, a warm hug, and a steady place to land. 1. Begin with love. Make your bed. There is something almost magical about how small beginnings can shape an entire day. When you wake up in the morning, you're standing at the very start of something new, a whole day stretching ahead of you with all its unknowns, all its possibilities. It can feel exciting, it can feel overwhelming, and it can also feel grounding, depending on the first choices you make. One of the gentlest and most powerful habits that organized women embrace is simply this: they make their bed. Not because someone is coming to check, not because they are chasing an image of perfection, but because it is a loving gift they give to themselves, first thing in the morning. Making your bed is not about creating a hotel-perfect room. It is about sending a message to your own heart. Today, you matter. This space matters. You deserve beauty and order, even in the smallest corners of your life. The beauty of this habit is that it only takes a few minutes. You do not need to iron the sheets or fold the covers with military precision. Simply straighten the blankets, fluff the pillows, and smooth the surface with your hands. As you do, you are not just tidying a bed. You are setting an intention for your day. You're choosing order over chaos, care over neglect, presence over rushing. Even on days when the laundry piles up or the kitchen counter gathers mail, a made bed anchors your space. It offers a feeling of calm and accomplishment that ripples outward. When you glance into your bedroom later in the day, you will see that small island of peace and feel grounded again. For many women, especially as we move through different seasons of life, routines can feel like lifelines. They are not rigid rules. They are acts of kindness, rituals that remind us of who we are and what we value. And beginning with making your bed is one of the simplest and most powerful rituals you can offer yourself. Think of it as planting a flag each morning, staking a claim in the territory of your day. No matter what else happens, no matter what unexpected twists come your way, you began your day with care, with dignity, and with love. And if you are thinking, but some mornings I'm too tired, or some days it just feels silly, that is perfectly human. This is not about doing it perfectly every day. It is about offering yourself the chance as often as you can to start your day on a foundation of care. Tomorrow morning, before you rush into the needs of others or the worries of the world, pause, breathe, straighten the covers, smooth the pillows, and whisper to yourself, this is for me. Watch how that small, loving act can change the way you move through your day. 2. Keep the sink smiling. Little by little. The kitchen has long been called the heart of the home, and for good reason. It is where we gather, where we nourish ourselves and those we love, where memories are made in the sense of coffee brewing or soup simmering on a cold afternoon. And right at the center of that heart is the kitchen sink. It might seem small, but the state of the kitchen sink can deeply affect how we feel about our entire home. A cluttered, overflowing sink often brings with it a heavy feeling, a sense of things being out of control. On the other hand, a clean or simply managed sink sends a very different message. It whispers, "We are cared for. We are in control, even if just a little." Organized women understand this. They do not wait for the dishes to pile up until it becomes a mountain too big to face. Instead, they tend to the sink little by little with grace and gentleness. A quick rinse here, a neatly stacked plate there. Even when the day is full and energy runs low, they make small choices that keep chaos from taking root. You do not have to scrub every pot or sparkle every spoon. The beauty is in the small, manageable steps. If a plate needs rinsing, rinse it. If a few utensils gather, soak them or stack them neatly. By touching the task gently and often, it never grows into a loud, demanding mess. And something beautiful happens when you do this. You begin to feel lighter. Your kitchen feels more inviting. Cooking a meal, or even making a simple cup of tea, feels less like a chore and more like a joy. You reclaim the heart of your home as a place of nourishment, not burden. There is also an emotional ripple effect. When you care for the sink, you signal to yourself that you are worthy of a space that supports you, not one that weighs you down. It becomes less about dishes and more about dignity. Maybe today you feel a little tired, a little stretched thin. That is okay. You do not need to tackle everything. Just start with the sink. Let it be a small, bright spot in your home. Wipe it clean, rinse that last cup, and smile at the tiny bit of peace you just created. These little acts, repeated quietly day after day, build something powerful over time. They build a home that nourishes you. They build a life where you are not always catching up, but moving gently alongside the rhythm of your days. So the next time you pass by your kitchen, remember, you do not have to conquer it all at once. Just keep the sink smiling. Little by little, and you will feel the difference deep in your heart. 3. Handle it. Now, not later. There is a quiet kind of freedom that comes from handling things in the moment. Organized women understand that clutter is not something that appears overnight. It grows slowly, little by little, from the small decisions we postpone. A jacket draped over a chair, a coffee mug left on the side table, a pair of reading glasses placed down absent-mindedly and forgotten. None of these things are a problem by themselves. But together, over time, they weave a feeling of overwhelm. They create a sense that the home is getting away from us, that life is rushing ahead faster than we can catch up. The simplest way to prevent this is to make a small shift in mindset. Instead of leaving things for later, take a breath and handle them now. When you finish using something, guide it gently back to its home. Hang up the jacket when you walk through the door. Carry the coffee mug back to the kitchen when you finish your book. Place the reading glasses back in their case when you rise from your chair. It sounds simple, and it is. But it is also profoundly powerful. Handling small tasks in the moment keeps clutter from ever truly forming. It removes the feeling of a long list weighing on your mind. Instead of looking around and seeing dozens of small things you need to get to, you feel a sense of ease. Your home becomes a space that breathes with you, not one that tugs at your energy. There is another beauty here too. When you live this way, you are not constantly putting your life on hold to clean up. You're flowing with your day. You're living in rhythm with your space, treating it with the same tenderness you offer a beloved friend. Of course, there will be days when you are tired, or when life demands more than you can give. That is perfectly natural. On those days, be gentle with yourself. The goal is not perfection. It is simply to create a habit of mindfulness so that most days, without even thinking about it, you are choosing peace over postponement. Imagine for a moment a home where every object has a place and most of them are in it. Imagine the lightness you would feel, the sense of calm you would carry into each new day. That feeling is not far away. It starts with one small decision at a time. Next time you finish reading a letter or sipping from your favorite cup, take a breath and ask yourself, can I take just one more moment to complete this circle? Over time, these tiny acts of completionist will transform not just your home, but your heart as well. 4. Choose what you see. There is a quiet wisdom in understanding that not everything we own needs to be on display. In fact, having too much visible at once can create a sense of busyness and unrest, even when everything is technically in order. Organized women know this well. They are not necessarily people who own fewer things. They are people who choose carefully what their eyes and hearts encounter each day. When every surface is crowded, every shelf brimming, and every corner filled, it becomes hard to feel at peace. The mind, even without realizing it, begins to process each item: the stack of magazines, the pile of unopened mail, the collection of souvenirs gathering dust. The visual noise adds up, and soon, simply sitting in a room feels tiring. Choosing what you allow to remain visible is a powerful act of self-care. It says, I honor my need for peace. It does not mean stripping your home of personality or warmth. It means intentionally selecting the items that bring you joy, comfort, or beauty, and letting them breathe. Maybe it is a framed photograph of a loved one smiling warmly. Maybe it is a vase of fresh flowers on the kitchen table. Maybe it is a treasured book resting beside your favorite chair. When these items have space around them, they become more meaningful. They are not lost in a sea of clutter. They stand out, offering gentle reminders of what matters most. One simple way to begin is by asking yourself, as you move through each room, does this need to be here? Does this lift my spirit? If the answer is no, consider putting it away, donating it, or simply letting it go. Give your treasures the dignity they deserve by allowing them to shine without competition. The living room, the kitchen, the bathroom, the bedroom, every space in your home can benefit from this thoughtful approach. A clear kitchen counter can make cooking a joy rather than a chore. A bedside table with just a lamp and a beloved book can make bedtime feel like a sacred retreat. There is no need to rush or force anything. This process is gentle. It is not about achieving some picture-perfect standard. It is about creating breathing room for your soul. Over time, as you make these quiet choices, you will notice something extraordinary. Your home will feel lighter. Your heart will feel calmer. Your life will feel more like your own. So take a moment today. Look around with soft eyes and a kind heart. Ask yourself what you truly want to see when you walk through your own door. And know that every item you choose to honor and every item you choose to release is a step toward a home that welcomes you in with open arms. 5. A gentle goodnight to your home. There is a certain peace that fills a home in the quiet hours before bedtime. The world outside slows down, the lights dim, and everything begins to soften. It is during these moments that organized women practice one of the most meaningful habits of all. They take a few minutes to give their home a gentle goodnight. This ritual is not about cleaning the whole house. It is about small acts of care that bring closure to the day. Straightening a pillow on the couch, rinsing a last forgotten cup, turning off a light with a sense of completion. These are not chores. They are gestures of gratitude for the space that has carried you through another day. By walking through the house with calm hands and a loving heart, you send a quiet message to yourself. I honor the life I live today. I prepare gently for the life I will live tomorrow. When you wake up the next morning, instead of being greeted by yesterday's unfinished tasks, you step into a space that feels fresh, welcoming, and full of lightness. This small ritual also gives you a chance to slow down and reflect. In a world that moves quickly, it becomes easy to lose track of the little moments. Taking 5 or 10 minutes to gently touch your space reminds you to breathe, to notice, to care. You close the day not with chaos, but with calm. It is not about achieving a perfect home. It is about creating a feeling. Even if you only tidy one small corner, that act carries weight. A neatly folded blanket, a clean kitchen sink, a table free of clutter. These are invitations to rest, to breathe deeper, to let go of the weight of the day. For many women, especially as we move through different seasons of life, these rhythms become anchors. They offer a sense of steadiness when the world feels unpredictable. A home that is cared for, even in small ways, becomes a place of strength, of renewal. And this habit is as much for your heart as it is for your home. When you take time each night to gently ready your space for sleep, you're also preparing your mind for rest. You're telling yourself, I am worthy of peace. I am worthy of a soft landing. Tonight, before bed, I invite you to try it. Walk slowly through your home. Fluff the pillows. Rinse a cup. Wipe a small spot from the counter. Dim the lights and close the curtains. Move with love, not with pressure. Move with gratitude, not with urgency. And as you do, notice how your home begins to respond. Notice how you begin to feel lighter, calmer, more rooted. A few small touches, a few quiet minutes, and suddenly, your entire evening is wrapped in peace. This habit, repeated with care, will change the way you end your days. It will greet you each morning with softness. It will remind you that your home is not just a place to live, but a place that lives with you. You deserve that kind of sanctuary. You deserve to wake up to a home that feels like a quiet blessing. And it begins, simply and beautifully, by saying goodnight with love. As we gently close the door on these 5 simple but powerful habits, I hope you are beginning to feel a new sense of possibility for your home and your heart. Sometimes, it is not the grand changes that transform our lives. It is the quiet decisions, repeated day after day with care and tenderness, that truly build a sanctuary around us. But before we end our time together, I have something special to share with you. 2 bonus habits. Small treasures that many women have found bring even more lightness and joy into their everyday lives. These are not requirements or obligations. They are gentle invitations, soft additions to the rhythm you are already beginning to create. Bonus 1. Create a little basket of blessings. Sometimes it is the smallest spaces in our homes that hold the greatest meaning. Among all the rooms, all the shelves, and all the corners, having just one special place can change the way we feel about our entire home. Organized women often know the power of creating what I like to call a basket of blessings. This is not a storage bin or a place to catch random clutter. It is a space set aside for only the most heart-lifting items. A handwritten letter from a loved one, a seashell collected from a favorite beach, a photograph from a day that made you laugh until you cried, a small, thoughtful gift from someone who remembered you with kindness. The beauty of the basket of blessings is that it becomes a visible reminder of what matters most. On days when life feels heavy, when worries cloud your thoughts or energy runs low, you have a place you can return to. One glance at the treasures within, and your spirit is gently lifted. Creating this space is simple. Find a small basket, a tray, a shelf, or even a drawer. Choose carefully what you place there. Each item should carry a story, a smile, a memory of love. This is not about filling the space quickly. It is about curating it thoughtfully, letting it be a living testament to your life's beauty. Over time, as you move through different seasons, you may add new items and retire others. That is part of the beauty. Your basket will grow and change with you, just as you grow and change with the years. It is not static. It is alive with meaning. This little corner of blessings can also become part of your daily rhythm. You might choose to visit it each morning before you begin your day, or each evening before you rest. Spend a few quiet moments remembering the love, laughter, and light that these items represent. Let them be anchors for your heart, steady points that remind you that goodness and beauty have always been part of your journey. In a world that often moves too fast, having a place that honors stillness, gratitude, and memory is a profound gift. You deserve that gift. You deserve to live in a home where not everything is practical or efficient, but where some spaces exist purely for joy. So today, I invite you to create your own basket of blessings. Even if you begin with just one item, that is enough. One small reminder that you are deeply loved, that your life is full of beautiful moments, and that every day carries new blessings waiting to be noticed. Bonus 2. Let fresh air in every day. There is something deeply renewing about fresh air. It is easy to overlook when we are busy or when the weather is not perfect, but the simple act of opening a window can transform the way a home feels. It can transform the way you feel inside your own skin. Organized women understand this quiet truth. They make a habit of letting fresh air into their homes every day, even if just for a few minutes. It is not about temperature. It is about energy. Stale, still air can make a space feel heavy. A gentle breeze flowing through the room brings a sense of movement, renewal, and hope. When you open a window, even slightly, you invite change into your home. You allow yesterday's worries, yesterday's frustrations, yesterday's tiredness to float out into the open sky. You welcome in the breath of today, the newness of this moment, the endless possibilities that come with each sunrise. You do not need to throw open every window wide. One small opening is enough. A little crack that lets the air stir the curtains, that lets the room sigh with relief. That little gesture tells your home and tells your own heart that life is meant to flow, not to stay stuck. Fresh air is a healer. It clears more than just dust. It clears emotional heaviness. It invites clarity of thought, lightness of spirit, and sometimes even new inspiration. It is such a small thing, and yet it can have such a profound impact. Tomorrow morning, perhaps after you pour your first cup of tea or coffee, open a window nearby. Breathe in deeply. Notice how the air smells different. Notice how the sounds of the outside world gently filter into your space. Maybe it is the song of a bird, the rustling of leaves, or simply the soft whisper of the breeze. These small, sensory moments reconnect you to something bigger than the walls of your home. They remind you that you are part of a living, breathing world, full of life and movement and hope. Letting fresh air into your home every day is a way of saying yes to change, yes to growth, and yes to new beginnings. And just like the other habits we have shared, it does not require perfection. It only requires a willingness to open, to breathe, and to welcome life in. You deserve a home that feels alive with possibility. You deserve a heart that feels refreshed and light. And sometimes, all it takes is the simple, beautiful act of opening a window and letting the new day find you. And now, dear friend, as we reach the end of our time together today, I hope you feel a little more encouraged, a little more inspired, and most of all, a little more at peace. Your home does not have to be a place of perfection. It does not have to be a place where everything is always done exactly right. Your home can be a place where love lingers in every corner, where small acts of care build into great feelings of peace, where the gentle rhythms you create each day nourish not just the space you live in, but the very heart that carries you through each season of life. You do not have to do it all at once. You do not have to do it perfectly. You only have to begin. Maybe with making your bed in the morning. Maybe with keeping the sink smiling. Maybe by opening a window and letting the fresh air remind you that every day brings a new chance to breathe and to begin again. Which one small habit will you choose to start with? I would love to hear your thoughts. Please share with me in the comments below. Tell me which habit spoke to your heart today. Or, if you have a special practice of your own that brings more peace and joy into your home, I invite you to share it with this beautiful community. Your story might be just what someone else needs to hear. And if you found comfort here today, I warmly invite you to subscribe to the channel and join us as we continue to explore ways to create homes and lives filled with more clarity, more kindness, and more ease. Until next time, remember, you are doing better than you think. Your efforts matter, and every gentle step you take brings you closer to a home and a life that feels just right for you. Take a deep breath, smile softly, and know you are deeply, wonderfully, exactly enough.